Playing with a boy. Playing with a boy. And sunsets. Nothing but a simple ploy. Playing with the boys. Playing with the boys. Come on, everybody at home. Playing with a boy. Playing with a boy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Unbelievable what's happening out here, folks. Sports Mass Collective, episode 88, October 11th, the year of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Howard Christ. That would be 2024. When we last talked, the Mets and Pete Alonso the night before hit one of the most dramatic home runs in Mets history and of his career. And this week, we're coming off of one of the biggest home runs ever hit in Mets history as Francisco Lindor sent the filthy Phillies packing on, what was that, Wednesday night? No, Tuesday night. Was it Wednesday night or Tuesday night, folks? Let me think, because where did I see it? Yes, it was Wednesday night, because I was at a soccer ball club. Unbelievable what is happening out here if you're a Mets fan, that's for sure. And unbelievable what's happening out here if you're a podcast fan as we continue to ascend and leave all these other hack casts in the dust. If you haven't noticed, we've more and more moved away from dealing with anything or anyone in this in the old universe that used to be good, and now it's just pure slop while we ascend. There's always growing pains as we lose the loser viewers and gain a new audience. But I tell you, the numbers coming across my desk have never been bigger. We're just starting to see the reap the rewards of moving away from the shitverse and all the losers that just keep talking about the same shit and people over and over again. I think I saw Chad was live. I just only saw it because I was doing our channel. I think I saw he's live talking about Shuli's producer. I mean, how low does it go when that's what your show is about? Anywho, on the contrary, we're talking about a winning team over here. That's the New York fucking Mets, who every week, again, last week this time, they moved on to the NLDS. This week, they're awaiting their opponent in the National League Championship Series, folks. And who would have thought it? When they lost 11 games in a row at the beginning of the season, I didn't. I was telling you they were dead. I'm a man of my word. I'll back it up. Nobody did. I don't think the team believed they were going anywhere, if you were to ask them realistically. But ever since this man here threw out that pitch, and then that whore also threw out a pitch, and they've had over 600 winning percentage since the Grimace and the Hawk Tua girl have thrown out the first pitch. They'll put a bow on this Philly series. So listen, the Phillies bats totally shit the bed. The Philly bats, aside from their win that one game, were nowhere to be found. Bryce Harper, once again, nowhere to be found in the postseason. All their hitters, I mean, those bats were cold as ice. And I'm not even as a big of a pieces of shit as Philly fans and people are. I'm not even shitting on them. I'm just talking as an All-American athlete, one of the only sports podcasters who's actually qualified to talk about sports amongst all these fat losers. You look at Barstool and other podcasts. I actually play sports. I excelled in sports, and the only All-American. So if anyone's going to really comment on these things, if you're going to listen to anybody, it's got to be the Nostradamus of sport, the Aristotle of athletics, and that's Jim fucking Stansel. Yeah! Yeah, 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 yeah. This is the show, folks. It's an entertainment sports show, but also educational. Phillies bats died a quiet and slow death. Um, what else happened this series? The Mets pitching continues. In spite of Diaz trying his best to blow game four there, other than that, the pitching has been exceeding expectations. Even the relievers coming through. I mean, they held the Phillies to 1 run. I mean, besides the game the Phillies won, I think they held them to under 3 runs in each game. Is that correct? I don't have a producer because I'm not sheep, so I don't have anyone to check that. But I'm pretty sure I'm right. And now the Mets get a 3-day rest. They had yesterday, today, and tomorrow, which you'll remember. They had 1 day of rest in the 14 days there between at the end of the season. And the thing about the baseball playoffs is it's all about momentum. And obviously the New York Metropolitans have all the momentum in the world right now, more than any of the teams that are left, I'd say. Definitely more talented teams. I mean, look at the Yankees batting lineup, although their bats, they advanced. So Subway Series, by the way, is on the table. We'll get to that. But as far as momentum goes, you're not going to get a more momentum team right now than the New York Metropolitans. And that's what baseball, more than any other sport, is about. In the playoffs, at least. Yes, Lindor's, as I led off with, Lindor's home run, one of the most clutch in Mets history. There's no denying it. Bottom of the sixth, down 1, with going back to Philly on the line for do or die game 5. Lindor goes deep in the biggest spot, in the biggest way, in the biggest city on the face of the earth. And you saw the crowd. Amazing. If it doesn't give you goosebumps, you're dead. If you haven't seen it, go pull it up. Again, I can't say it. I mean, I'll say it again. The biggest spot in the biggest city, and he goes deep in the bottom of the 8th. Okay. Bottom of the 6th, I'm sorry. And yeah, they're still pressure-free, waiting their opponent. Padres and Dodgers play tonight. Now, I would like to play the Padres just to beat the Padres. I think Machado could use a 99-mile-an-hour fastball in the ear. I think Tatis Jr.'s got a big fat mouth that I'd like the Mets to shut for him. But they are a scary team. And the Dodgers are too. Ohtani, obviously. And they have a good lineup there. So I think I would if I have to choose, I think the Mets rather play the Dodgers. Ohtani is a huge risk, but other than that, I think they have a manageable lineup for the Mets to pitch against. Although the Padres, I would like to beat on a moral level because they have a lot of loudmouth Dominicans on that team that I'd like to build a wall and throw them back over. Anywho, do you guys have those ghosts that you would hang and they would shake and go? Anywho, I have severe ADHD, and I was diagnosed in the early 90s before it was cool. Now every Tom, Dick, and Harry Ball says they have ADHD and autism. I think they're just gay and addicted to technology. What do you think? Call in. By the way, join the Patreon. I meant to lead off with that, but I got too excited about my New York Mets. Join the Patreon. Just before this, another page. You can't get it anywhere. Patreon. Me and Mead watching along the Mets-Phillies game on Tuesday. Only available on the page. By all means, feel free to super chat. But as you know, if you watch a show, we're looking for the Patreon. Making a show based around super chats is gay and lazy, and we're here to provide you you people the best content, and begging for super chats is pathetic. We've said it forever, and now we're putting our dicks where our mouths are, and we don't even ask you for super chats. So just join the Patreon. $3 gets you everything. That's literally half of a cup of coffee now. We used to say a cup of coffee. And we unlike all these other things, we actually release content weekly, if not more than one. Last week we released 4 Patreon only bullshit already, me doing a watch along on there. But don't even join for the content. Join to support us, and the content is a bonus. Look at it that way. And thank you to those that have. It has been creeping up. Unbelievable what's happening out here, and we appreciate it. Not only creeping up, but already members upping what they're giving, because this is what you're tuning for, folks. Yeah. We want a show to entertain you, not a show that just begs you for money every show, and that's the show. And having loser get, you'll notice I have people begging me to come on. Literally, Paulie C, the bow-tied bartender. I get people texting me and calling me, begging me to have me on every week, but the guests slow me down. And it slows Ski Mask me down. This is the show. If you need guests to make a good show, you don't have a show. If you need super chats to have a good show, you don't have a show. If you need stream sniping to have a good show, you don't have a show. If you need clip watching to have a good show, you don't have a show. Wake up and demand better from your podcast. That's why we'll always do Sports Mask once a week, Ski Mask once a week, because it's quality over quantity here at Ski Mask Media, and the rest all goes on the page, and it's unbelievable what's happening out here. Now, before we move on from the Mets and Phillies, let me just say this. I don't understand. I've seen a lot of, what it's like, shows shitty being a Philadelphia fan. Oh, God, the Phillies fans have it the way. The Eagles and the Phillies have both won championships in the last 10 years. So I don't know where I think these Philly people are getting off doing the woe is me thing. Yeah, you guys have won championships recently. So shut the fuck up, take your L, go home, and be quiet. Don't play the woe is me card. You guys have won championships recently. Your Phillies totally disappeared in the playoffs, as did Bryce Harper, as did Trey Turner. They disappeared. They shit the bed. They choked. Say that and then go home and shut up. You don't get woe is me, Philadelphia. You've won shit in the last 10 years. So shut the fuck up and sit down and watch the Mets advance while you sit your Philly asses at home and say water and eat shitty cheese. By the way, cheesesteak's one of the most overrated sandwiches on the planet. It's just a boring, give me an Italian combo. Give me a tuna. I'd rather a tuna wedge than a fucking cheesesteak. Cheesesteak is so boring. God, it's so overrated. Sheep. But what do you expect from Philadelphia? One of the most low IQ cities on the planet. And now the Yankees also advance. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, as whatever that wrestler used to say, Randy Orton, out of nowhere, we are all of a sudden one series away from a Subway Series. That hasn't happened. Only happened once in history. That was 2007. Jim Stansel, was at that game. I was at the first Subway Series game at Shea Stadium in the World Series. The Baja Men played before the game. Who Let the Dogs Out? You can look this up. And this is why I'm who I am, and all these other losers who they are. Because I'm the Forrest Gump of sport, the Nostradamus of athletics, the Aristotle of whatever. I was actually at all these games. So I was at the first Subway Series game at Shea Stadium. Unfortunately, it was the game that Derek Jeter led off with a home run. So it didn't end very well, and the Yankees swept that series. And that's what's kind of interesting, though. The Subway Series in 2000, for all it was hyped up to be, ended up really, when you look at it, really being a massive letdown. No, the city wasn't buzzing like we thought it was. There's reasons for it. The Yankees had all the pressure on them by Steinbrenner at the time. There's no way they could lose to the Mets. The Mets, to be fair, almost underlying tone of knowing they couldn't compete, and sure enough, they got swept there in 2000. So, and we're getting ahead of ourselves, I know, but this time next week, both these series could be over since we're not pieces of shit and beg you for money every day. We only do shows once a week, so it needs to be said now. This time next week, we could be staring down a Subway Series, and if a Subway Series happens this year, I think it takes the city over like it couldn't do in 2000. I think the Mets have a ton of mojo. I think if the Yankees can get through this series, they'll be a very sexy team with that lineup and Judge and Soto and so on and so forth. I think if we can get to the Subway Series this year, it does take the town over and probably the country. It didn't really give a shit in 2000 about the Subway Series either. It just kind of fizzled out. So one thing at a time. Either way, the Mets are playing a gay, soft West Coast team. San Diego's gay, and LA is super gay. So that's what's happening there. And let's go Mets. And Philly sucks, and fuck Philly. And that's that. I'm going to take this off now because I'm very hot. Take a gander at my 1972 Marantz back here while I do that, and then the Lord Huron poster above it. This is all the real deal, folks. You're not going to see these losers having this stuff. They probably got an Ultra Ears boombox speaker. Take a look at what's behind me. Get a good gander at it while I take this off. That's right, folks. That is an original Marantz from 1973. You simply can't get it anywhere, and it still works. Look at this. Unbelievable. We're not going to leave it on. Unbelievable what happened here. But yeah, I live in my mom's garage, and I sell soccer balls. Okay, good. Oh my god, keep believing it. Because there's no skin off my dick. All right, let's move on. Let's get to some sport. I gotta play this. I listen to Mike Francesa, the sports pope, because he's the best in the biz. And I don't always agree with him or not, but he is the pulse of sport. If you don't know who Mike Francesa is, stop watching this show and go watch that show. But it's unrelated to him. He had an add-on with some English guy, and I love these quotes. Hedging is for gardens. Don't be a moron. Put more on. I mean, I got to send this to Victor. I actually recorded it because I couldn't stop laughing this morning when I heard it. Come on. What is this playing through? Oh.
Nigel and Sealy. I've said before, hedging is for gardens. Me, press. Don't be a moron. Put more on. Sealy. I've said before, hedging is for gardens. Me, press. Don't be a moron. Put more on. Listen to.
I've said it before. Hedging is for gardens. Me, press. Don't be a moron. Put more on. I'm gonna start saying this constantly. But anyway, I have ADHD. But that hedging is for gardens. Me, press. Don't be a moron. Put more on. Oh my god, I love that. That might be my motto for the weekend. Let's see, where are we at here? The New York Jets, my God, here we fucking go. The New York Jets, why don't we bring Grimace over here? You can hang out. Here's my guest. This is the only guest you need when you know how to do a real program. You don't need guests or stream snipes or clip watching. We do real shows here. We're real entertainers, not like these sheep. The New York Jets, and again, Stancil Stradamus, the Nostradamus of sport, the Aristotle of athletics. That's me, Jim Stancil. I've always been right. And look what I'm right about again. The Jets fire Robert Saleh. I told you he couldn't last one more loss, and he didn't. I once again am right. That's why they call me Stancil Stradamus. Now, this should have happened, if you listen to me, should have happened weeks ago. I mean, the guy really shouldn't have even been coaching this season or Hackett. I understand why they did, because they thought the talent was good enough they can overcome the coaching. It clearly could not. I mean, the game against the Vikings, just plain, there was nothing. They came out like it. You know what they've been coming out as? Just what they are. They're coming out as a team who thinks the paper did the talking for them. Yeah, they have we got Aaron Rodgers, we got Garrett Wilson, we got Breece Hall, we got Al Lazard, we got a great defense, so we don't really need to do much. And sure enough, they keep coming out and they keep getting the doors blown off, embarrassed by the Vikings, and an embarrassing performance, frankly, by Aaron Rodgers, who, by the way, we'll get back to the coaching issues, but Aaron Rodgers, it's time to put up or shut the fuck up. I mean, you're a Hall of Fame quarterback. At some point, this is on you, buddy boy. I know we're both unvaxxed because we're free thinkers and we're not sheep, but at some point, I don't give a shit. Aaron Rodgers this week has to play. I mean, forget about how bad everything around him has been, including the line, his receivers not knowing what routes to run, which, by the way, Hackett got demoted today. The only reason Hackett is on this team anymore is because he's holding Aaron Rodgers' pocket. Nathaniel Hackett doesn't even have a role right now. He's just on the team in a role to be named. There's no reason to have this guy around. And you could say, oh, it's not going to hurt anything. It might. Having a guy who is part of the losing still be in the room, still be in the clubhouse. I hate it. I don't know. As soon as I saw Saleh got fired, I immediately looked to see if Hackett got fired, and he didn't. And I knew right then this is Aaron Rodgers' BFF doing him a favor, keep him around. I think Hackett needs to be gone. But what are you going to do? I mean, there's no reason for Hackett to be in the clubhouse or on the sideline after the way the Mets offense has played through these 5 games. It's been totally embarrassing. Now all of a sudden, the Vikings, go to 5-0. I'm still not impressed by the Vikings, as you'll see. Later on in a few minutes, I'll be doing my first power rankings of the year, of course. I do 1 through 5 to start the season, and as we go, I get up to 10, but we'll have the top 5, Stansel's power ranking top 5, which everybody tunes in for every year, so this is when we start it, once we get a taste of the teams. And we learned a lot in week 5. I'll get to that in a second. Let me finish with the Jets here. So Albrecht, who's the D coordinator, who, hey, we've had a great defense overall, and I like Albrecht, but so he's going to be the interim head coach. Now, I'll tell you the problem with this is they didn't name a new defensive coordinator. So Albrecht is going to be doing double duty. So in our defense, let's be honest, the last 2 weeks hasn't been great. They've been okay, but they've held the points down, but they've given up big spots. So now you have a head coach who I like. I don't mind. He seems like a hard-nosed guy. It seems like the players like him. Unlike Saleh, it seems like this is a guy, and I just know this from watching Hard Knocks a couple years ago. It seems like he's a guy who doesn't mind giving it to the players when it needs be, where it seems like all that Saleh did was try to hug them all the time, and he's a fucking idiot, and he should have never been a head coach. And by the way, Robert Saleh, after what he pulled here, I think he had a 250 winning percentage. He'll never be a head coach again, and he shouldn't. I mean, he'd be totally embarrassed that he made it this far. He should be honored that he made it this far as a head coach. I don't know what Woody Johnson was thinking, even letting it get this far. Again, the only thing is that Rodgers didn't want to rock the boat because he thought he was good enough to overcome the coaching staff, and he couldn't. That's how bad the coaching staff was. That Hall of Fame quarterback, legendary quarterback, not only Hall of Fame, maybe one of the best quarterbacks to ever play, couldn't overcome the coaching staff. So shame on Woody Johnson for even letting it get to this point. And now we have a head coach who's double dutying with D coordinator and head coach. So it's almost like we're down a man. So just there's a Stanislaus Rama's heads up. Let's see. Yeah, as I said earlier, it's go time for Rodgers. Put up or shut up. We brought in Lazard. You have Garrett Wilson. You have Breece Hall. By the way, Breece Hall, where have you been? I was one of just about everybody saying Breece Hall is going to have one of the great running back years, if not the best running back in the NFL. He's also yet to show up. So, yeah, I was wrong there, at least so far. Aaron Rodgers hasn't shown up. Breece Hall hasn't shown up. I know we're trying to overcome a coaching staff, but if you're that good, show the fuck up. I mean, Aaron Rodgers getting his dick kicked in, his ass blasted, if you will, getting blindsided while Breece Hall is blocking nobody. The O-line, it was a sieve last week, and they're letting a 50-year-old Aaron Rodgers get his dick kicked in. And meanwhile, Breece Hall can't catch a pass. He can't run the ball. So those two especially, it's time to put up or shut up. I've heard enough. I've seen enough excuses. I understand in the media they're taking the blame, but I don't give a shit. Do something on the field. Now is the time. Aaron Rodgers, we got the Bills Monday night. Make a statement. Are you a Hall of Fame quarterback? Are you a leader? Or are you a guy who's soft enough where a shitty coach is going to tear you down? Same for Breece Hall. Breece Hall's a young guy, obviously. He hasn't established himself, but he didn't do anything to not promote himself as the best in the league. He's talking all this shit on Twitter. Well, let's fucking see it. Okay, we're 5 games in now. We have division rival Bills on Monday night. Let's see it. You better show it. Show in or show out. Put up or shut up time for these fucking guys. And yeah, Rodgers brought everybody. We got Wilson already. We brought in Lazard. We brought in Williams. We kept Hackett for you, Aaron, after debacle last year. Both these guys proved, Saleh and Hackett proved last year that they can't coach the NFL. They hung around at the beginning of this year solely because Aaron Rodgers wanted them here because he can control them. Now they're gone. So no more excuses, Aaron. I know you watch. Yeah, NFL Week 5, some big turning point games last week, I thought, where we learned a lot kind of going forward, some concrete. Let's see a couple notes. Chiefs beating the Saints. Shouldn't be surprised, but the Saints were surging, looking like a good team. So meanwhile, the Saints get put back into their place while the Chiefs cement themselves as the class of the league, still until proven otherwise, as I say every week. Here's my guess. I can't do a show by myself. I can't do an entertaining show by myself. I need guests. I need clips. I need to snipe something. I need to talk about other grown men. I need to start beefs out of nowhere. I need this. Here's what you do, you fucking sheep. And some of you still watch it, and shame on you. A lot of you don't, especially the ones. Appreciate you tuning in. But you all deserve, just like me. I pulled the ripcord on that whole world about a month and a half ago, and I haven't looked back, and I haven't missed a goddamn thing. I've been listening to so many more entertaining podcasts. Don't get stuck in there. I'm here to help you. I feel like this is an intervention for you people still watching the shitverse. It is shit, and there's a lot better stuff out there, starting with this. And if you don't like this, go watch something else. But you're gay at this point if you still watch these shitverse shows, the Shuleys, the MLCs, the Chads, the Toes, where they're all just high school bullshit talking about each other. You deserve better than that, folks, and it starts here and goes wherever you want it to go. But don't get sucked in. We don't do super chats here. We don't join the Patreon if you want to support us. That's the best way. By all means, super chat. But it's all, oh, God, it's so gay and boring. And every time I do turn on for a second, it's the same shit. Ugh. I mean, you all deserve better than that. And if you still watch it, then you can go fuck yourself. You are what you are. But that shit sucks. It's so gay and boring and talking about the same other men and stream sniping. And these got this views and he's got these super chats. Gay! Not here. Nothing gay here. You got a fucking man, an all-American athlete. I got a real Marantz. That's a real 1972 Marantz back there. I already went to the fucking gym today. I went to the gym yesterday. I haven't missed the gym in a week. I stole your bitch. I'm going to fuck your bitch while you're watching clips. That's the new motto of the show. Fuck your bitch while you watch clips. That's the new motto of this show. Now, one of the ladies in my harem that I regularly put my penis in says I have high set nipples. What do we think, folks? I guess they are a little high. I don't know. Call in. Send in a letter. Super chatted. Oh, that's what these other shows would say, right? Oh, super chatted if you think gay. Anywho, yes, back to where I was. No, I'm not picking that up. Talking about the pivotal change, the changing games that happened last week. Touched on the Chiefs. Cowboys beat the Steelers. You know, Cowboys had to have that game. Cowboys are now back on track at 3-2 with a big game this week. We'll get to that in the picks. Cowboys needed that game. Steelers needed that game to kind of move up a notch, and I thought they had a chance, and they did have a chance. They were hanging in, but they couldn't pull it off. So I think the Steelers are still a fun team. I think they'll win games, but that was their chance in my eyes to really say, oh, wow, okay, now we got something here in Pittsburgh. Couldn't do it. Russell Wilson still hasn't played a snap for the Steelers, by the way. Where is he? Here he is. Hold on. He's still here, folks. Here it is. No clip watching. No begging for super chats. No talking about other men who do podcasts. Strictly original entertainment from a real All-American athlete. You're not going to get this anywhere else, folks, especially someone who's as unhinged as I am, of course. Vikings move. We touched on this with the pathetic Jets. The Vikings moved to 5-0. Listen, I'm still not impressed by the Vikings. I'm sorry. They got a game manager, Sam Darnold, just like Brock Purdy, a game managing dumb white who has great weapons around him. Rack me. Stancil Stradamus, the Nostradamus of sport, the Aristotle of athletics, Jim Stancil, you heard it here. Brock Purdy, as I've been saying for years, I don't care if he won or didn't win a championship or whatever. He's a white game manager. He's a great game manager with amazing weapons around him, as you saw last night. Same for Sam Darnold right now. A game manager with amazing weapons around him. Take the weapons away, he's not making wins out of thin air like great quarterbacks do. Anywho, good. All the same, the Vikings moved to 5-0. Interesting. Commanders bury the Browns, and I've been saying since the first week or two of the year, I think the Commanders are a real force to be reckoned with. And I don't just mean in the NFC East. I think they are legitimately a good team. If you watch every week, you know I've said before they drafted him, I thought Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback than Caleb Williams, and he's pulling his end of the dick on over there in D.C. Texans beating the Bills. Talk about putting them on the map. I love to see it as a Jets fan. I love to see the Bills lose. But another big step for C.J. Stroud and the Texans cementing themselves as another team to be reckoned with. Nico Collins, unfortunately, will be out. I believe he's on the IR for at least 4 weeks, so that's one thing to keep an eye on. But they have weapons there. And in an interesting turn of events, the Broncos blow the doors off of the Raiders to make it 3 wins in a row. The Broncos are 3-2. Started with beating the Jets. What else is new? And all of a sudden, the young Bo Nix has some confidence. They play at Mile High, which is always a leg up, dick up. Play at Mile High, where beautiful lady KB lives, who I love hanging out with when I go out there. And Nikki Huntsman lives out there in Colorado. She's got a great ass. Let me tell you firsthand, because I'm not gay. I actually leave my house and have sex with porn stars. Anywho, that's for another day. Yeah, and I think the NFC North in general is a very interesting division this year. Look at it here. The Vikings, who are 5-0. Again, I don't believe they're as good as 5-0, but they're 5-0. The Vikings, the Lions, the Bears, and the Packers. The NFC North might be one of the most competitive divisions this year. Who saw that coming? I believe the Vikings are 5-0 and everybody else is 3-2. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really correct me because I don't really give a fuck because I have no producer and I do this once a week. And I don't really care if I'm wrong, frankly. It's an entertainment podcast. But all right. Well, let's get into the first power rings of the year, and then we'll get to the picks, and then I'll get out of here and suck all your dicks. And yes, it's an original 1972 Marantz, and they are Klipsch speakers, Klipsh. For those who know audio, knows there's some of the best in the biz. But yeah, I live with my mom's and I sell soccer balls. Believe whatever you want. I am so much better than all these other loser comics and podcasters. It's unbelievable. Anywho, both physically, mentally, entertainment-wise, I'm just on another level. It's unbelievable out here. But enjoy begging for super chats or whatever the hell you losers do. Patreon.com, Ski-Mask Media, talking about begging. Let's see. First power rankings of the year, folks. Here we go. The top two should be no surprise. Number 5, I got to give it to them. The Vikings at 5-0. There were some other teams I was thinking about plugging in there. But listen, as much as I don't think their 5-0 is that strong, at the same time, they are 5-0. They haven't lost. So I felt I had to give them the 5 spot at least in the power rankings for week 6 here. At 4, I got the Bills. Self-explanatory there. They had a rough loss to the Texans last week. And where are the Texans? Well, I have the Texans at 3 with C.J. Stroud, all the weapons they have there. They continue to win. At 2, I have the Ravens, obviously. And at 1, I have the Chiefs. Yeah, and looking around the league when I was making this, there's really nobody else that it was actually a really easy top 5 to make for me. So once again, it's the Chiefs 1, Ravens 2, Texans 3, Bills 4, Vikings 5. The power rankings for going into week 6 of the NFL. And it's almost that time, folks. It is almost that time for week 6, pick up sticks, touch my dicks. Before we get to that, I want you to all just remember something.
Sealy, I've said before, hedging is for gardens. Me, press. Don't be a moron, put more on. Listen.
Don't be a moron, hedging is for gardens. Me, press. Don't be a moron, put more on. And that's what you got to remember when making the picks this week. I'm going to be saying that all weekend. Oh, wow. I didn't even see. There's a couple of. See if there's anything worth reading here in the chats. Let's see. Oh, my God. Jason from CT. A blowout. 1999. Tailgaters Alumni Association. Oh, yes, absolutely. Tailgaters, the club lacrosse team of CT. Do I have the? Oh, no. I thought I still had the shorts here, which I don't. Absolutely. Lax Bros for life. Thank you, Jason. A good egg. Join the page. Let's go, Mats. Thank you. Yeah, AC/DC. I don't know if you tuned in late. I touched on this. AC/DC, a regular, so I'll read it. I didn't pay for it. This breaking games is going to be bad for the Mets' momentum they had going. I understand that take, and that's why I addressed it, because I think that's the first take everybody has with this break here. But I think they really need this rest, frankly. They had that one day off after 14 straight days and then started this last series. I think they like each other enough. Part of the momentum is the games themselves, and part of the momentum is the clubhouse, if you will. And I say this as an accomplished athlete. And I just think the clubhouse the Mets have, not only what they're doing on the field, but the clubhouse they have going now with Jesse Winker and Iglesias and Lindor bringing everybody together. Alonso taking the pressure off himself, having fun. Nimmo. They have a fun clubhouse, and I know that's gay to say, but that's the truth. They all have each other's back. There was a video of them all together at a club after they beat the shit out of the low-life Phillies the other night. So I think you have. I see what you're saying, and I don't blame you for saying it, AC/DC. But I think the Jets have more than on-field momentum going at this point. And I'm not saying that guarantees you they win this series. The Dodgers are a good team. The Padres they're both very good teams. And frankly, they have more talent than the Mets on paper, both of them, from pitching to the lineup. But I think momentum is real, especially in baseball more than any other sport. And I think the Mets obviously have it. Rack me. Whoa, Julio here. Kevin Brennan is a known hacky mo. He's calling Kevin Brennan a hack homosexual. Frankly, I don't see how he can refute it at this point. Is he still? The last MLC I gave a listen to was when Barry Ribs was on, which was decently funny, but every time I put it on for a second from there, it's been the same boring shit. So I honestly haven't watched, folks. I'm sorry. I've like I keep saying, I encourage you all to do the same until something changes there. That whole shit verse and MLC and all of it is garbage. Good, AC/DC. Dolivers doesn't exist in my life. Get racked. Yes, James from CT, my old pal, tailgaters, absolutely. Yes, Chris Mack. This is an original. It is a model 2325 Marantz. I believe it was made in 1972. I looked it up. You could look it up. I still have the original paperwork and storage. Still works. That's what I use for my hi-fi here, folks. And of course, the Lonesome Dreams album cover. One of the great Lord Huron Lonesome Dreams. I got the vinyl also. All the vinyls are right in this thingamajig here. It's all happening. I'm a real person, if you can believe it or not. I put my dick where my mouth is when I tip my legs behind my back. Now, it doesn't make any sense. Let's leave Jason's thing up here while I do stuff, since he's so kind. And that way, if anybody clips it, it can pretend I get super chats, which I don't care about. I think it's just funny. Join the Patreon, everyone. $3 gets you everything. Me and Mead doing a Mets Phillies watch along. I just uploaded today. We had 4 Patreon exclusive last week, including Ski did an extended episode. Go get there, $3, and don't just join to support us. Don't care about the content. Now, before I get to the picks, I almost forgot my own segment that I made up, and that's reading the college scores from last week and displaying what a terrible product college football is. So let's take a look at the college football scores from last week, shall we, folks? And anyone that tries to tell me that this is in any way more competitive more entertaining than the NFL can go straight to hell. Here we go. Ready, folks? Oh, Saint Ranger in the chat. What's up, Saint Ranger? Always a pleasure to see you coming around. Hello to Pam and all of your lawyers, of course. Here we go. College football scores from last week. And I read these because I still have people tell me that this in any way can be competitive with the NFL. What the hell is that? Oh, it's that's my hamper between the speaker and the thing. Oregon 31, Michigan State 10, Texas A&M 41, Missouri 10. That's a normal score. Indiana 41, Northwestern 24, Georgia 31, Auburn 13, Ole Miss 27, South Carolina 3, Ohio State 35, Iowa 7. College football sucks. This is all the same week, by the way. You don't have this many blowouts in an NFL season, much less in 1 week. That's a decent game. Vanderbilt with the upset of Alabama last week. Congrats to them. Clemson 29, Florida State 13. How about this one? Boise State 62, Utah State 30. I literally don't understand why they play these games, or B, why anyone would ever watch these games. Iowa State 43, Baylor 21. That's about it. But those are all blowouts in 1 week. Anybody that tells you that college football in any way competes with the NFL, just pull out your phone, look up recent scores, and shove it right in their fat fucking faces. As the Aristotle of athletics, the Nostradamus... Wait, did I say it wrong? This is my new thing. I got to make sure I get it right. Yes, that's what it is. The Nostradamus of sport, the Aristotle of athletics. I'm the only person you need to tell you what's going on in the sporting world. I got it right. I got to remember how to say that right. The Nostradamus of sport, the Aristotle of athletics. Playing with a boy. I want to play with a boy. Yeah. I want to play with a boy. Obviously, it's just a song, folks. I'm just trying to pull up the spreads here. Julio told me last night I may actually be turning into the Joker because he catches me just singing nonsense to myself all the time and laughing. I just laugh by myself and sing to myself most of the day because I entertain myself before anyone else. That's the way it should be. This is me. This is not an act like all these other hacks do. Even great comics. You hear them on podcasts and they're so funny. I run into them in real life. They're dolts, dead. Take it from me. Meanwhile, I'm almost the opposite. I think I might be more entertaining in real life than I am on these dumb shows because these shows are gay. I just do it for fun anyway, though, you know? What was the song I was singing last night? Julio, you watching? It was, what was it? God damn it. What was the song I was singing last night? There he is, Julio. This episode is basically like watching a better Joker, too. Julio, what was I singing last night? Come on down. No, not Sending the Clowns. It was something about turning the frogs gay. Oh, that's what it was. Come on down and wipe those tears away. We're gonna turn the frogs gay. We're turning the frog. What was it? God damn it. I forget the cadence. But it was something to the effect of, come on down, wipe those tears away. We're turning all of the frogs gay. And I just made that up. And then I sing it over and over again and laugh to myself. Whoa, here you go. Thank you, Jason. Socrates of sport, the Aristotle of athletics, the Nostradamus of national pastime. Whoa! I'm going to take a picture. Look at it. I'm like Kevin Brennan. I'm going to take a picture of that myself. That'll be great. All right, here we are, folks. We got to play the music because you folks know what time it is. Join the Patreon, $3. Send a super chat at the buzzer if you like. I'll do one more check on the comments after the picks. But if it's not a super chat, I can't guarantee it. Go join the Patreon. Here we go, folks. Once again, it's time. The picks for week 6, where teams suck the dicks of the NFL 2024. If I could ever open this. Obviously sponsored by DraftKings. And don't forget, folks, before we get to these picks, don't forget what this British guy said.
Sealy, I've said before, hedging is for gardens. Me, press. Don't be a moron, put more on.
Hedging is for gardens. Me, press. Don't be a moron, put more on. And that's what you're going to want to do here with Jim Stansel's picks. Don't be a moron, put more on. As we go to Sunday at 9:30, another money grab for Roger Goodell in the NFL as they play in London again. We got the Jags. They're desperately trying to get the Jags to have London as their second home. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but that is what's going on. The Jags at Kelly Pismy's Big Ass's Bears. It's a pick'em, folks. It's the Bears -1. In a neutral site, technically a Bears home game. I know the Jags are still looking for their first win, or they know they got their win last week, right? Well, I don't think they get a second one here. I think the Bears might have a little something going there. I'm going to give the confidence to the Bears here and pick the Bears. If they don't win this, I think the Bears come back to earth for me. Give me the Bears -1 in London. Shiny London down, London down, London down, London down, kill myself. Anywho, then we got the Browns at the Eagles. The Eagles are getting 9.5. This is a must-win. The Browns are getting 9.5. This is a must-win for the Eagles. I think the Eagles win. I think the Browns cover with that 9.5. Give me the Browns plus a 9.5. Give me the Eagles money line, and let's move the fuck on. The Packers are home against the Cardinals, and we all know who's on the Cardinals, folks. It's a fetal alcohol syndrome man himself, Kyler Murray, with that mushed-in face, the low IQ, and that low brow line. Kyler Murray. And he makes a lot of mistakes, and he runs around real fast, but he definitely does have fetal alcohol syndrome. And his team's getting 5.5 against the Packers team, who's only going to get better as the season goes, and they are home. Give me the Packers minus a 5.5 at home against the fetal alcohol syndrome-ridden Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Love this game here, folks. Love this game here. The Bucks at the Saints. These are two teams in my mind are very similar. Lots of weapons. Some are aging, but good weapons. I love this game. I think this is going to be a very entertaining game. The Saints are getting 3.5 at home. I think that Tampa Bay has a little bit of an edge skill-wise. I think Saints, Alvin Kamara can have huge games, and they have a decent defense there. This is a tough one for me. I'm going to take the Saints because they're home and getting points, but I can go either way on that one, but look for that one to be entertaining. 41.5, by the way. Bang that over down there. Those teams are going to score points in New Orleans. The Colts at the Titans. The Titans with Will Levis and the Colts with Anthony Richardson. And both of these teams bore me and aren't going anywhere. I don't give a shit about this game. Give me the Colts on the road with 2.5. Who cares? Steelers at the Raiders. Fun game on paper with two hard-nosed teams. Not as fun a game it will be on the screen, as these are middling teams. As much as I think the Steelers are overachieving with what they have, and I like the Steelers. That said, I don't think either of these teams are really going anywhere this year. Might be a fun game to watch. The over-under is only at 36.5. Maybe hit the over there. I'm going to take the Steelers. Why not? Give me the Steelers with the... Steelers are actually favored by 3. But there's no hook. If there was a hook, I would have taken the Raiders. I guess I'll take the Steelers -3. I think it's a pretty even matchup in Las Vegas. Gino Bisconti's nuptials in 48 hours or a little bit more pending. Gino Bisconti's LA Chargers going to Lady KB and Nikki Huntsman's Colorado as they play the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos going for 4 in a row, and I think they get it. Getting 3 points at home, playing Gino's loser Chargers. Give me the Broncos going for 4 in a row. I think they talk about momentum and mojo. I think the Broncos have some, and they'll be at home, and the Chargers are soft. Give me the Broncos plus the 3 in Denver. Oh, talk about a game that stinks. The Falcons at the Panthers. Panthers are getting 6. I don't give a fuck. Everybody was on Atlanta's dick at the beginning of the year. I told you not to ride it. If you listen to me, you've done well. If you didn't listen to me, you're a sheep, as all of you mostly are, by still watching all these other loser shows. But, so, if you're smart, you're off that Atlanta bandwagon by now, and you see there really isn't much meat on the bone. Kirk Cousins is another one of these guys. He had 500 passing yards and barely won the other week. So, that tells you all you need to know about Kirk Cousins, and that's what he's been his whole career, a compiler. I think the Panthers get an upset outright here for their first or second win, and they're getting 6. Give me the Panthers at home with the 6, although I think the Panthers stink too. I just don't think the Falcons are anything great. Everybody loves this game. This is going to be your national game, I believe. It's going to be the Lions at the Cowboys. I didn't say you shouldn't love this game. This is a nice matchup here. Cowboys, Dak Prescott, I don't know if you saw the press conference, he all but guaranteed a win here. He basically said we can't lose any more home games, so we're going to win this game and go to the bye week. So take of that what you will. If I'm the Lions, I'm putting that on the bulletin board. That said, the Cowboys are getting 3 at home. They're getting a little bit back on track. They have a bye week coming up. They desperately need this game. I like the Lions too. But give me the Cowboys at home plus the 3. Over-under here is 52. Give me the under there. That's a high number. That's a high number. I understand why with these two teams, but give me the Cowboys plus 3 and the under 52. Well, that Sunday night game, and it's interesting. The Bengals are at the Giants. I'll tell you why it's interesting in a second. Bengals at the Giants, Sunday night game. Unfortunately, if you don't have a rooting interest, pretty shitty game here. Bengals -3.5. You gotta believe, so thorough Joe Burrow, the beautiful boy that he is. There's no chance in hell he can lose to the Giants team. I've watched the Giants a decent amount. I don't know why this line isn't bigger. Making me worried I missed something, but I can only worry so much because the Giants just have nobody on this team. And even if they did, the players they do have stink. So give me the Bengals absolutely -3.5 on Sunday night in the Meadowlands. And then the Meadowlands just the next night, your Monday night game. The Buffalo Mongoloidal Bills Mafia Bills. And by the way, make no mistake, there's nothing else to do in Rochester or Buffalo or any of the places up north except to fart and drink and eat wings and watch football. So I don't really respect the Bills Mafia. I think it's a bit of loserdom, frankly. It's just because they have nothing else to do. Like I say, leave your house. When you leave your house in Buffalo, what do? You just go to a bar and get fat and eat and then put yourself through a table and slam ketchup all over your body. So I don't really respect the Bills Mafia much. I think they're mostly losers. Listen, the Jets obviously have to have this game after Rodgers and the other talent got the coaches fired, because as bad as Saleh was and Hackett is and was, as I said earlier, Rodgers has yet to show up. Put your nuts on the table and make some fucking plays. Call an audible if you hate the play. Aaron Rodgers, the receivers don't know where they're going. Aaron Rodgers doesn't know where he's throwing. I mean, this guy is an all-time and still is a Hall of Fame quarterback and hasn't looked like it at all. So this is the week, boys. Rodgers, put your nuts on the table. Breece Hall, where are you? Where have you been? Time for you to show up. Garrett Wilson, learn how to run routes, and all the other receivers. O-line show up, and defense doing okay, but how about you stop giving up the big play? Well, here's your chance. And not only a big chance, a win here puts them right back into a great spot in this division with a win over the Bills. Dolphins are done. Patriots are done. This is the Bills or Dolphins division to win this year. And a win by the Jets would go a long way to keeping that in contention. And a loss here would go a long way into taking more steps back if you're the Jets. I mean, a couple pathetic losses in the last 2 weeks. That 3 in a row would be catastrophic. 3 in a row, you got to start looking at Aaron Rodgers. You got to start looking at the talent on the team. If they don't, it's one thing if this is a close game and they lose. If they don't show up again and have another pathetic performance, I think they're getting bailed out by the Mets and Yankees, still in it. But once that wraps up, they're going to be headlines of what the fuck is happening in the Meadowlands. So with all that said, I gotta take my Jets plus the 2.5 at home. I wish that line was bigger. I think the Jets deserve a bigger, or I should say, I think the Bills deserve to be favored by more of what the Jets have going on. But I'll take the 2.5 and run with it. Over is 41. I actually like the over here, especially if this game, the Jets have to get back on track. The Bills score points. I like the over the 41 here. Give me the Jets at home. And what I was going to say with what's interesting is the Giants will be playing at the same time as the Yankees Sunday night. The Mets play earlier that day. And the Jets will be playing alongside the Mets on Monday night, which is also interesting. I very well may be at the best bar in America for that, folks. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Also, my dead dad's birthday on Monday, so that's always fun. And those are your picks for Week 6, sucking dicks. What was it, Jason? You heard it here from Jim Stansel, the Socrates of sport, the Aristotle of athletics, the Nostradamus of your national pastimes. It's Jim Stansel's picks for Week 6. And boy, do I hope somebody sucks some dicks. Patreon.com/skimaskmedia. We did it. I nailed it. It's crazy. I did it without a guest or watching a stream or watching a clip or talking about the same people over and over again. It's unbelievable how I can do that, isn't it, folks? Isn't that interesting? And almost nailed it. 58 and 40 seconds. I'll get you right to that even hour. Good question at the buzzer here. This will get us to an hour even. Piku, should the Jets move Rodgers? I believe you meant for a favorable pick. Listen, I wouldn't do it after this week. Good question, because that is now starting to become a reality, unfortunately. They can withstand one more loss, although this would be a tough one. The Dolphins and the Patriots shitting the bed, and the Bills with that loss last week staying, even if they lose. Let me actually look something up for once. Good question, Piku Chu. Is this the kicker for the Falcons? Let Let me pull up the standings here because I don't tell any tales out of school because I've never lied to you people. Let me tell you. Never, never, never. Yeah, so right now the Bills are 3-2. The Jets are 2-3. By the way, the Dolphins are also 2-3. So while they stink, they technically have the same record as the Jets. So the Jets lose this. The Bills will be 4-2. The Jets will be 2-4. So the Jets will be 2 games out. You know, that they can come back for. If they lose one more after that, I think you got to start talking. Absolutely. That will be if they lose this game in week 6 and then proceed to lose the next game in week 7. And who do we play week 7? While we're at it. See what you started? Then we play the Steelers Sunday night, October 20th. That's not going to be an easy game. So the Jets do lose these 2 games. They will be 2-5 at that point. Actually, yes, Piku. I think at that point you have to, especially if Rodgers is still playing the way he's playing now, which is terribly. You know, it's one thing if we lose this game 31-28 and, you know, we lose the next game, the Steelers score in a miraculous play at the buzzer, you know what I mean, and Rodgers plays well, that's one thing. If he keeps playing this middling offense and one of these teams going on a run can think they have something here, or a team that needs a quarterback where there's plenty, I wouldn't be, if we can get a really high pick, a first round, middle or higher pick, I would be fine at that point. At that point, not yet, but at that point, moving Rodgers. Because we brought Rodgers in here to win the Super Bowl this year. Brought Rodgers in here to win a Super Bowl last year. Make no mistake. And he tore his Achilles, and he made us keep Hackett and Solid. By the way, that's something else to note. Rodgers tore his Achilles in the first game of last year. Everybody basically got a pass but Zach Wilson last year. And then we keep Salah and Hackett around to start this year, and it's more of the same. So as I said all last year, those guys had to go. They had no reason starting the season. They didn't even make it 6 weeks this year. That's how bad Salah and Hackett were. So yeah, if they continue to lose, yes, then there's no reason to keep Rodgers here. Let's get some picks, maybe get a young player. Great question to get us over the hour. Patreon is only $3. That's the best way to support us. Do that. If you're listening live, God bless. Thank you to all those who listen, audio files like myself, listen to the podcast or on YouTube after. The numbers are amazing. Just a heads up, this does get uploaded everywhere. Spotify audio and Apple audio and everywhere the fuck else. So if you catch this live, but you're more of an audio guy, feel free to wait for the audio like me. I always wait for the audio to come out on all these casts. So this is full audio everywhere. This is a real podcast, unlike these YouTube streamers. So YouTube available everywhere. All the extra content on the Patreon. If you're an audio file, stay tuned. That'll usually takes about a day to get uploaded, but it'll be there before your Sunday games. God bless the troops. Bring home the votes. We're getting closer. We're going to build the wall. Jet fuel cannot melt steel beams. Let's look into Building 7 and to pay attention to the property BlackRock is buying up. Rack me.